Welcome back to the Love to Mom podcast. As always, I'm your host, Jerry, and I'm joined by my lost in love co-host, Christy.
All right. Yay, love.
It kind of, lost in love, it feels like, because we're in a very different place than we were at the end of Before Sunrise. I have to think about it every time.
Yes, I know. It's hard to keep track of.
But before we get too carried away, this week is our follow-up to Before Sunrise, where we're watching Before Sunset. Mm-hmm. Our little trip through the Before trilogy. We'll be wrapping it up in a month or so after your next pick. Mm-hmm. And so this is one... I'm going to be honest, I watched it a couple weeks ago because we were supposed to record this a couple weeks ago, and then stuff came up, and then my friends were in town. So here we are. I think I'm okay because it's pretty short, and I feel like I remember everything that happened. But yeah, we'll probably start with your thoughts since you're more fresh on it.
Sure.
Because you watched it yesterday, right?
Yeah, I watched it yesterday. Yes, I was sitting on the couch. Jenna was working on her new Tomodachi Life because she had to get a new Switch, so she has to recreate everything. And so she was sitting next to me, but wasn't necessarily watching it. So there were moments that were a little uncomfortable sitting with her. You know, like, not that it was sexually explicit visually, but like some of the conversation, I was like, I don't like that. But anyway, it just hits different when you're sitting next to your kid. But I loved the opening. I loved, I just was so tickled when you see her off to the side and you see his face and he sees her and it's like, I just want to know.
Yeah.
And I love the way he rolls out, like, what has happened over the last 9 years? Where have they been? Mm-hmm. So I thought, as a sequel, I thought it was really, really well done and really fun to watch because I really did want to know, like, all of the things that we're learning in real time. One of the things I didn't realize was the movie, as we had said, is really short, 1 hour and like 20 minutes or something.
Yeah.
But that's the actual elapsed time. They're saying that 1 hour and 20 minutes is how much time they had together. And so that's how long the movie is.
Oh, yeah.
We never leave them. There's never a cut scene. We're watching them go from place to place to place. You know, we're watching transportation even. So it's not like you're watching something where it's like they're at the bookstore. Oop, and now they're at, the cafe or whatever.
Yeah.
You're watching them walk or you're watching them on the boat or whatever, which I had not really thought about. I don't know that we ever really knew what, like how much time he had. We know when he has to leave, but someone had put out there that it's the same amount of time.
Oh.
Which makes sense because we are watching them move. So
Yeah, that's really interesting. I didn't know that. Mm-hmm. That's very similar to my favorite old school Western of all time, High Noon, where that movie is like this giant escalation. We know that the gang is on their way. They're about like an hour and a half out. And so it's like we're watching the preparation in like real time. And then when actually an hour and a half passes, that's when noon hits. And cool. I love stuff like that. So I didn't know that about this movie, but that's really cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because it is true. And it's not something that you think about very often. When you're watching movies, you very rarely see the people getting to where they're going. You usually just cut to where they're going. Because of the nature of the movie and that there's conversation happening and really crucial conversation. And we know that they have this limited amount of time together to recap 9 years and then the interesting dynamics that are happening within that. It makes it so that there's not really going to be any silence between them that whole time they're together because they haven't seen each other. They're trying to fit as much as they can in that hour and however long they have together. So I don't know. It was interesting to think about after the fact. I kind of wish I would have read that before, although I didn't want any spoilers.
Yeah.
But there was something I did read after that I actually went back to watch. And that was in the first movie, you know, at the end of the movie, they are going back to all the places they had been. I don't know if you remember that. We had kind of talked about that a little bit.
Yeah.
And you're seeing those places without them. This time, that was the opening credits. So I went back and watched the opening credits, and it's the cafe where they were, and it's the like where you see them walking, you see the boat, you see Notre Dame in the background. So instead of putting it at the end, it was at the beginning. It was all the places they go during the course of the film. And so I wanted to go back because I was like, of course you wouldn't know that because you haven't seen the movie yet. But when you go back and watch it, it's all the same locations. It was really fun.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah,
A nice
I liked
little
that.
flip.
Yeah.
That's cool because it does kind of like lead into like the meta commentary of the intro, where it's like Jesse has turned this book into the movie, the events of the first movie, into a book, and is now like a best-selling author doing a European tour, like a book signing tour. And I love that there's like these three kind of book reviewers that are there, and they all have like very different ideas as to what happens after the events of the book. And that's kind of like where we were kind of left, obviously, because it's like the same place that it's left off, where it's like we don't know whether or not they get back together in 6 months. It's ultimately revealed that they don't, or at least one of them doesn't show up. But that just feels like so real. It feels like the setup for that is like genius, because it's like all of these people have these like either very optimistic views of how it will play out or very cynical views where it's like, oh, well, they're both whatever. Like they're never gonna, they don't care. It's just a night, whatever. And then the other person's like, well, very hopeful. Like, oh, well, that's probably who you're married to right now, whatever, stuff like that. But then it's just like, no, well, I went, but then her grandma died. And it's just like, right. And it's like, that's just like very real world stuff where it's like you maybe have these plans and then something comes up. And because you're young and stupid and you didn't decide to exchange phone numbers or anything, you're just like SOL.
Yeah, and I like that they actually say that. Like, we were so stupid. What were we thinking? You know, and it's true. You're young. You just have this really romanticized idea of what the world is that you don't realize that life gets in the way. When you're young.
Yeah, it's one of those, and like you can tell that like, I mean, I don't know how old Linklater was when like they made Before Sunrise, but it feels like that is a very young person, like idealized version of romance where it's like, oh, I'll meet someone on a train and we'll just hit it off immediately and we'll have like this magical night and then we'll be together forever. And then now it's like, oh, well, that doesn't really happen, or at least not in the ways that it was kind of depicted in the first movie. And this is almost like a deconstruction of that and bringing that like kind of fantasy back to reality.
Right.
In a way that I thought was really kind of interesting, because it isn't like, it isn't a deconstruction and then like super cynical where, you know, like they get back together after 9 years and then like, I don't know, like they're in like an abusive relationship or something like really over the top. And then like they get back together and then they have like nothing in common anymore. And it's just like, these are two very different people. And that's like an art movie that I wouldn't like, where it's just like, yuck. But this is like, the connection is still there. They still have a lot of like chemistry together. And I think ultimately like they kind of decide to leave both of their partners to be with each other at the end, kind of. Or at least that's kind of like what the entire movie's kind of building towards.
Was she single? I don't think she was with anybody, right?
She was.
Okay. She was? Like during the movie? I thought they had, maybe it was a bad breakup or something, or no?
No, it was just like a bad relationship, because I think he was like a photojournalist or something, so he's like always out. And then even when they're together, there's just like nothing. She's just there because it's comfortable, which again is like a very real world thing.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. For sure. Yeah, I was worried that they weren't going to get along.
Yeah.
I thought, 9 years is a long time. And one example of like how you change over time, when they were talking about Buddha, or
Oh,
the
yeah.
Buddha says this, and he's like, well, but you last time, I can't
Yeah.
remember which one, but their views on that had completely changed over the course of the 9 years,
Yeah.
which was interesting. I think there were one thing I do want to say is at the beginning, and he's spinning out on all of this philosophical stuff that he's sharing with these book critics.
Yeah.
Which I'm kind of like, dude, bring it down a little bit. It's a little heady. When he sees her off to the side, like when I saw her, I was like, oh, and then when he sees her, it's like his face transformed a bit, which was really fun to see. He looked younger, like immediately after seeing her, seemed to appear younger. And I really loved that. I loved the way they brought her back into the picture in the
Yeah.
setting and in the middle of a conversation with these other people where you can't just stop. You have to, keep it rolling, but she's sitting there watching him. Oh, it was so sweet.
Yeah, I know.
I like that a lot. I like that a lot.
I love that too because it's also like that's a total like young artist thing where it's like everything has to be super deep and introspective.
Yeah.
Like
Right.
it has to have like all these different meanings and whatever. But what he just told is essentially just like a sappy love story.
Yeah. Well, and he just as much said that, I wrote this hoping that you would come see me,
Yeah.
I mean, how else are you going to reconnect? So this is, I don't know. I know we didn't talk about this last time, but as I was doing research on this particular movie, there was something out there saying that this is loosely based on his own life, on Linklater's life.
Oh, okay.
That he had spent a night walking and talking around Philadelphia with a woman named Amy in 1989. And it says they initially stayed in touch over the phone, but they lost contact. And so in 94, he shot Before Sunrise
Oh,
based on that. And then he was hoping that she would show up at the premiere, but she didn't. And then Before Sunset, of course, 9 years later, she didn't show up. But then in 2010, he started production on the second sequel. And a friend of Amy let him know that she actually died in a motorcycle accident in May of 94
oh,
at the age of 24. So very shortly after within the year that he met her, she died at the age of 24. And it says it was just a few weeks before he had started shooting Before Sunrise.
wow.
Yeah, so that is interesting too. It kind of makes me wonder. That kind of makes me wonder what we're going to see in Before Midnight.
Yeah.
Because at this point, when he's shooting this one, he doesn't know that Amy has passed away. Is that going to color what he decides to do with this in the last movie of the trilogy? I'm interested to know. But I do love the parallels there.
Yeah.
Where you're making art hoping to reconnect with someone.
Yeah.
I just think that's a really sweet little story.
That is really sweet. Yeah. Man, I didn't know that. That's really
it's-
cool.
Yeah, I mean, I'm getting it off the internet, so I don't know what the source is or anything, but if that is the case, that is, I don't know. I love art imitating life like that. And his use of time, of course, is such a huge thing. And it seems like everything that he does
Yeah.
is very time related. But this one even, there were a couple of notes that I had taken because the Nina Simone song that was playing, or they were talking about the Nina Simone song. And the name of that was, let me find it here. The name of his book is This Time. So that's the name of his novel that he wrote. And then the song the Nina Simone song is Just in Time. So I thought that was interesting too, that he's like including time even in the things in the song that he chooses to use from Nina Simone and in the title of his book.
That is interesting.
Anyway, it's just such a big part of what he does. It is fascinating to me.
Yeah.
I think it's such an interesting concept, and I like that it's a through line through a lot of his work.
That's true. Yeah. I do really like that they use that Nina Simone song. There's such like a unique quality to Nina Simone's music that it's very kind of like, there's like this like, I don't want to say it's like a secret power, but there's like this understated power to like all of her music. Even like whether it's like a kitschy love song or like something like very culturally minded, there's just like this driving power through all of it. And it's like, it's almost like reminiscent of their relationship in these movies where it is just like, as soon as they met each other, it was like an instant connection and they immediately go and have this adventure and then they fall out of touch. But then like, as soon as they see each other again, it picks like right back up. It's it's like they didn't even like miss a day. The chemistry, that relationship all stays the same. The only thing that changed were the circumstances.
Right.
And I love too that they like even they bring up like Simone, like the and I think that was crazy. I didn't know that she lived that long. Where she was like, I can't believe she's gone. Did you ever get to see her? And I love that oh geez, I can't remember her name.
Celine,
yeah. I love that Celine was actually able to see her, and that would have been historically accurate because Nina Simone ran away to Europe in the 70s and basically just stayed there and didn't want to, didn't like playing American audiences for whatever reason. And so I'm like, that's kind of cool that she's the one that saw Nina Simone and not Jessie. Because that would make sense. She was just playing in bars in Paris and stuff.
I loved her description too of her like getting up during the middle of a song or switching songs in the middle of the song. I thought that was, she just did such a interesting depiction of what you could almost feel what that experience would be.
Yeah.
Because of the way she moved and the way, she was talking and
that's all real.
Yeah.
Like she was very like expressive when she did performances and like almost like demanded a certain level of respect from the audience of like if anyone like made any sort of comment or anything, she would either like shut it down immediately or just stop playing. Like it was like you have to respect me as a performer right now, otherwise I'm not going to perform for you anymore. Yeah, I don't know. I have a lot of respect for Nina Simone.
Yeah, I know you really. When I saw it was her, I was like, oh, Jerry's gonna love this.
Yeah, no, like that's perfect. And it's like the perfect artist to like represent this relationship too. If you know some stuff about Nina. But yeah, I thought that was a really nice through line, and I also loved that when Celine played her song, it did almost sound like a Nina Simone song. Just in that it was like really kind of bluesy and soulful. I don't know.
She did 3 songs for this movie. She wrote 3 songs for this movie. She wrote the opening song. So if you go back, because I was watching the credits again.
Oh, okay.
And it is for sure her singing a song over the top. And the lyrics were so similar to the song that was in the film. I'm like, is this the same song? Or so it had to do with time again, but it said that she had written 3 original songs and performed them for the film. So I enjoyed that a lot.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed that whole scene in her apartment. But she had such a nice voice, and that is such a I love that she's like, I don't want to do this. This is embarrassing. Like it is vulnerable to sing for someone. And And I can feel that like a little bit of anxiety about, oh gosh, this is embarrassing, sort of thing. But then to also hear the song that she sang him and understand, it would be even more vulnerable to share the fact that you're still thinking about him enough to write a song
Yeah.
and then to sing it for that person. That's next level. I thought it was so sweet. I loved it.
Yeah. That's also like a really great, like, kind of marker, like, to end the movie, to where it's like these are both kind of young artists trying to express themselves, and they can't help but write about this encounter that they had like 9 years ago, and it still means
Right.
something to them.
Yep.
Because I think, like, at the beginning of the movie, it definitely feels like Jesse is the one that's like kind of holding on to this. You know, he's the one that just like debuted a book about it.
Right.
But then, like, to have it be revealed at the end that, like, no, she's still thinking about it too, and is making art about it, is like, oh, well, that's just really nice to see. Especially since she's the one that didn't show up. Whereas, like, no, that wasn't I don't care about this, I'm just going to skip. It's like, no, that was, like,
Right.
just actually bad circumstances.
Well, and at the beginning too, she was kind of holding herself back a little bit where he was like, I can't believe you came to see me. And she's like, well, this is my favorite bookstore.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it's close to my house. This isn't inconvenient, like being kind of flippant about it.
Yeah.
And you could see that where like you're coming in cold after 9 years and you don't know where this other person is and you don't want to put too much out there because you don't want to be heartbroken
Yeah.
or disappointed. And so watching this dance between them as we know kind of where they're at toward the end, you think about, well, at the beginning, he's married and has a kid. Like, that is, how do you reveal those things? Because they didn't jump in and been like, hey, what have you been up to for the last 9 years? That's not what they did.
Yeah.
They're talking about things that you would think this was somebody who can spend every day together, honestly. They're
Yeah.
not talking about those things you would normally talk about to get caught up on someone. Which is also interesting in the thing that you were saying about like, it's like the conversation picked up where they left off. That they're truly not recapping their lives. We're just getting like little nuggets throughout the film to kind of give us an idea of what's been happening, but they don't recap their lives in the way you would expect someone to either,
Yeah.
which is interesting.
Yeah, that's true. And I think there is like a level to it where it's like he's achieved some sort of like fame. Not like he's not like an A-lister. He's not getting swarmed when they go to the cafe or whatever. But like I think she like read an article about him. There was like an interview that was done. So she already kind of knew that he was married. And I think that like she even says at some point where it's like I pictured you having this like really happy life. Like this, picture perfect white picket fence kind of life. And then she's there kind of miserable. So it would be like really hard if you had those assumptions to like, see this guy. And then it's also like, well, I don't want to like get in the middle of that, So there are like these levels of distance that she's putting between until there's like that big kind of blow up at the car where she's like kind of having an existential crisis.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I think, I do like the fact that this movie ends more definitively and that it is like there's less of that kind of young person whimsy where like they're a little bit older now and it's like, well, we can't afford to be like making these mistakes anymore.
Yeah.
Because, life is short, whatever. Like, this is obviously who I'm supposed to be with. Like, this is the decision that needs to be made. But I guess I don't know. Maybe Before Midnight takes a complete left turn, and I don't know. But I don't know. This movie was just really nice.
It was very nice. It was. I think seeing the change in her, one of the changes in her that I felt was when she was talking about her work and how like passionate she was getting about it. And I'm like, oh, I feel that. I get that way. And it's like you don't want to get in somebody's face about it, but she was just feeling it in her bones. And that was interesting because I kind of remembered her being a lot more soft in the first movie. And this time she has more edges.
She does.
And I think the other thing that the things that you had brought up that kind of makes me think a little bit is she knew some about Jesse because, I mean, obviously his book is well known enough that she saw it. Like
Yeah.
she heard about it.
I think she read it, didn't she?
She read it twice.
Yeah.
But how would you even know to get your hands on it, to know that there was a book out there, really? So it must have been something that she would have heard somewhere, heard about it.
Mm-hmm.
And then, but he's going in cold. He's going in completely cold. She has some idea that he has still thought about her enough to write a book.
Yeah.
But he doesn't know how she feels about him. He has no idea where she's been the last 9 years. So she's kind of got a little bit of an advantage over him as far as knowing where he's at and how you want to, what kind of conversations you want to have and how you want to talk about things because you know something.
Yeah.
He knows nothing.
I mean, like, even going a step further, like, there's like a pretty good chance, like, coming from his perspective, that she wants nothing to do with him. Like, she didn't show up to Austria. He hasn't, like, the thing that's, like, kind of crazy is, like, that like, kind of arc where it's, like, what was it? Like, was it on his wedding day? He, like, kind of sees her, thinks that he sees her in New York.
He saw her in a coffee shop or something in New York. That was during the time that she was there. I mean, we are pretty sure that was her.
Or at least there was, like, there's a chance that it
Yeah, because she was
actually
living in the neighborhood and it fit that time frame and all that. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like, that's just, like, I don't know. It's crazy. Like, that was, like, very clearly, like, a sign, like,
Yeah.
man, I don't know. The way that these movies, and I know they're not, like, written, like, it's not, like, scripted. It's more like scenarios. But, man, like, Ethan Hawke and Julie Delpy, the way that they, like, interact and set up stuff like that is so crazy to me. And maybe that was something that was, like, we have this idea that, like, they did actually see each other. But, like, the explanation of it where she's like, I lived at this block and I actually go to this cafe. And it's like, that was a on-set decision where it's like, let's make this kind of even more tragic. That it's like what could have been. Where it's like he went to the train station and then they saw each other years later. And they're just now reconnecting. I don't know. Like, that's, like, perfect. That's like the best love story ever told or something. I don't know.
It feels faded.
Yeah, it does. I don't know. Something special.
Yeah, I thought it was really sweet. I feel like this is a movie too that talking about it for me makes it because there are movies that I watch that I enjoy, and that's how I felt about this. I enjoyed it, but I do feel like this is a movie where conversation enriches the film itself.
Yeah.
And just because you're getting different things out of it than I did, or different things stand out to you than to me, and to me that enriches the viewing experience of it. Because part of me was like, oh, some of this is, when I was watching it, I was like, some of the philosophical or like the deep existentialism sort of conversations, I'm like, what is this? Like, why are we wasting time on this? This feels like you could be talking about something else, and instead we're talking about some crazy over intellectualized situation. But that's because, these are two artists. They connect on it. Whether I think it's heady is not really the point. That's what they're talking about isn't even, while it is deep and interesting to think about, that's not really even the point of it. It's watching them do this dance of communicating and yet not communicating, being careful about how we're communicating, and then, dipping your toe in the water. Like, how do you feel? But in ways that is so subtle because nobody wants to be the one,
Yeah.
It's when you look back on it, big picture, you're not necessarily going to think about so much the conversations. It's more about watching this dance between the two of them and how they're trying to reconnect with one another. The big picture.
Yeah. It's like the scene where they're listening to the record in the first movie, where it's very like they're avoiding each other's gaze, but they can't help but look. That's kind of like the kind of rhythm to all of their conversations, where it is like kind of playful and like a little flirty, but also it's like, I don't want to be the one to say I love you or whatever.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. There's like something very interesting in that rhythm. It's almost like kind of like hypnotizing. Like when it ended, I was like, I didn't think that it was even close to being done.
No, yeah, me too.
It just like ends, and I was like, "Oh, okay." I forgot this movie was super short. But
yeah, that was an interesting ending for sure.
Yeah, isn't it just like you're not gonna make your plane, and I know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Interested in where this goes next. I'm so interested in this situation.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be interesting. I don't know, like, what the reception is on Before Midnight. I know that, like, the first two are kind of... Those are, like, always talked about when it's, like, one of the best movies ever made. I don't hear, like, Before Midnight generally being in that conversation, but I'm very interested just because, like... I trust Linklater and Ethan Hawke and Julie Delpy. Like, I know they're gonna come through and at least do like a solid conclusion.
Right. So I will say, if I'm just looking at Before Midnight's Letterboxd rating, so this one was, I think, a 4.3.
Yeah.
Let me look here. Yeah, 4.3 on Letterboxd. On Letterboxd for that one, it's a 4.0, so still really high.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what's on there anyway, if that says anything. I think the other thing that I really liked about this one is that, and we had talked briefly about this in the last one, was there was some upset about the fact that Ethan Hawke and Julie Delpy didn't get any writing credits. And this time they did. And they were nominated for Best Adapted Screenplay at the Oscars. So that was nice that all three of them got, some recognition from that.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I had a couple things. Just some fun trivia things. The man and woman in the courtyard, when they go to her apartment and the woman's coming out and she's carrying food and the guy's out there in the grill, working in the grill or something. Those are her parents. Those are Julie Delpy's parents.
That's fun.
I know. I really liked that. This movie was shot in 15 days. And they were saying it was really tricky because he wanted to keep the lighting as it would be if it were an hour and a half.
Yeah.
So, that was a tricky thing. And that story about the cop and his gun, that happened to her. That was a story that that had actually happened to her, which I thought was really, really interesting. And then this one was kind of fun. When Jesse and Celine are getting in the boat, Jesse says, "All right, all right, all right."
He does, yeah.
And which is Matthew McConaughey's famous catchphrase from Dazed and Confused, which is written and directed by Richard Linklater.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I didn't catch that, but yeah, that is.
I didn't know that. I thought that was so fun. Anyway, I thought those were kind of fun little tidbits out of the movie. I feel like Ethan Hawke aged a ton. I feel like when I look at him from the 9 years before, he looked so young And then when you look at him, it's just 9 years later, he looks so much older, I thought. She
Yeah.
looked pretty similar, but he looked much older, I thought.
Yeah, I mean, he got the new hair. There's like some more wrinkles on his face. I don't know. I think Ethan Hawke is really interesting in that, like, you look at him now, and he doesn't look like that much older than he did in this movie. Like, just
No,
like
uh-uh.
just has like gray hair, but otherwise he like
Yeah.
looks the same. So it is kind of funny that he like aged the most because he is kind of like a Paul Rudd, where he's like he just doesn't age.
It's like he aged to a certain point and then he stopped. Whereas Paul Rudd always looks like he's 22.
Yeah.
I'd say Ethan Hawke always looks like he's 35 or something like that.
Yeah, that's
40.
true. That's true.
But yeah, you're right. The way he looks in this one looks like how he looks now.
Yeah.
So it's really true.
Man.
Yeah. Anyway, I thought those were interesting. The only nomination that they had for Oscars was that adapted screenplay one.
Oh, okay.
Otherwise, it was mostly like independent film sorts of awards. Nothing like a Golden Globe or anything like that. But
Okay.
so anyway, but I really did enjoy it. I thought it was good. I'm looking at Letterboxd right now because I had picked a movie before we started recording and then I forgot it already. So I'm
Oh.
just looking to try to remember what I was going to pick. And now I don't remember what it is.
That's fine.
Yeah. Anyway, okay. How many stars did you give this one?
You know, I haven't even rated it yet because I wanted to wait
Yeah.
for this podcast. Because I think I gave the first one 4.5.
Okay.
And my gut instinct is I think I like this one more.
Oh, okay.
So I might give it a 5-star. But I don't know. I am also kind of like I also am not getting the full picture yet, which I know isn't completely fair. But
Right.
I don't know. Because I don't know. I guess like when it comes to trilogies, I don't usually view it that way. But because
Yep.
this is like more artsy, this isn't like the Dark Knight trilogy or something. This feels like more fair to like kind of judge it as it's a whole picture.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of thinking 4.5 right now.
Okay. I'm debating back and forth. I didn't like this one as much as I liked the first one. And I think I don't really even know why exactly. There was something magical about that first one, and I'm not sure what it was. This felt more real.
Yeah.
The first one was so idealized. And maybe that's what appealed to me was like this sweet little capture of this perfect, they have no history.
Yeah.
And so watching that initial like falling in love, there's something really wonderful about that. This one felt like a middle movie.
Yeah.
It felt like, okay, now there's complications. Now we have life has gotten in the way. And so I loved the way it was done. I just feel like maybe I liked the feeling of the first movie more because it was there was something just really sweet about it. This had some like an undertone of sadness to it because it's lost time and it's,
Yeah.
all of these things, which shouldn't really color the rating of the movie. I mean, it was done very well, but for some reason, like I have just really nostalgic feelings for the first one that it made it kind of hard to watch this couple who I just so wanted to root for, to have them come to this movie and feel like some sadness, some pessimism, some like they've been beaten down by life a little bit.
Yeah.
But that's just their circumstances. That's not the effectiveness of the film. So I get that too. But some of it is feelings, and I loved the feeling of the first one.
Sure.
So, but I feel like it's true with most trilogies. It's the middle one that you're getting the conflict. That's where it has to be so that you have the resolution in the third one.
Yeah.
And so, of course, that makes sense. But So I'm going to say 4 stars on this one. I don't remember what I gave the last one. Do you remember?
I think we were both at 4.5, if I remember.
Okay,
right.
yeah, I'm going to go a little bit under. I'm going to say 4. Not because it wasn't done well, but just because, yeah, I liked the sweet little optimistic kids who were still just not beaten down by the world.
Sure.
But it was well done, of course. It was really well done.
No, I think that's completely fair. I mean, it's just your preference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I do think it's interesting. I do think the that this time where they've aged and we see, I like the way he rolled it out. That he rolled out these updates about their lives and the little glimpses that we're getting of them. Like, I really do enjoy that. I thought it was really, really well done. And I think you have to, you can't have 3 books or 3 movies like the first one. That's not interesting. In the long run, that's not interesting. So I think that truly this is going to be a trilogy that is going to have that eventually, I think after we see the third one, it would be easier to rate it as a whole.
Yeah.
Because I do feel like whatever this third one is the story.
That's what I'm saying.
Once it's completed, yeah, that's going to be the movie. It's not these broken in pieces, almost like an act. First act, second act, third act, right? That it's going to be the full story that I feel like I can really more accurately rate it all together as one. That's how I would want to do it.
Yeah. And who knows, maybe our ratings will shift after the third one. I suspect the podcast for the third episode or the third entry is going to be a little longer, as we're going to be talking about kind of the whole trilogy as a whole.
Right.
These almost feel like check-ins. Like, well, it's kind of like what you said, where it is almost like Act 1, Act 2, Act 3.
Yeah.
Although Act 2 is the shortest one, which isn't usually true.
Yeah.
But
but conflict is in Act 2 generally,
Yes.
right? And set up for 3.
yeah.
I'm going to be curious to see, like, okay, what really tickles me to death are those little things, like the credit scenes and the ways that was done. I can't wait to see what kind of fun little thing is going to be in the third one.
Yeah.
I wonder too if in the third one we're going to continue to see references to time, which I'm guessing that we will. But it's definitely something I'm going to be watching for.
Yeah, now.
And also, there's nothing you could have done about the opening credit scenes this time, because obviously you haven't seen the movie.
Yeah.
But I am interested, because I'm like, okay, you did one at the end and you did one at the beginning. What are you going to do on this one? Like, it feels like that would be something. It was such an obvious choice that it kind of makes me wonder. It kind of makes me wonder what he might do. Oh, I'm just pondering all sorts of things in my brain right now.
Yeah. It's exciting.
About that. It is. It is interesting to think about. And also to think about, okay, like, this is kind of where my brain is going. Hi, Edna. This is where my brain is going. Like, at the end of the first movie, we're seeing the places they've been. Like, I'm trying to think through, like, what could the narrative be? That we're seeing those places where they've been that they aren't anymore. And in this one, we're seeing where they're going to go. I don't know. I just have to think about that a little bit. It's interesting. Like, why those choices? Like, you would almost think the opposite would be true, that you would, at the beginning of the first movie, show the places they're going. You're looking forward, right? Mm-hmm. In the second movie, you'd be looking back. So I just think that's interesting to think about. I don't know if it means anything or not, but it is something that I feel like there must be some significance to the choice to make that, to do it that way.
I don't know.
I don't know. It's interesting.
It does almost feel like the first movie. I mean, there's such an importance on their dynamic, and I think that the, like, kind of showing where they've been is almost a like, the world is so kind of humdrum and boring without this, like, light in it. Where we're watching Before Sunrise, And the whole time it's just like, man, it's a magical Austrian little countryside, all these like old buildings. And then once you take those two characters out of it, it's like, oh, this is just an old village.
Right.
Whereas it almost like kind of makes sense to do kind of like glory shots of Paris because it's Paris. But it's almost like, I don't know. There is like this interesting kind of dynamic where it is the fact that they show it first. And I think me not knowing that until this episode,
Yeah, right.
it's interesting because that is deliberate in the placing of it. But I don't know what it means yet. I think it is
And you
like we're
wouldn't
waiting.
even, yeah, because like, had I not read that after I watched the movie, I wouldn't have even put it together
Yeah.
after watching the movie.
Yeah.
Like in the other one, it's like, well, we just finished watching all these places. And like I had said the last time, like you can picture them sitting on the side of this building, right? This time it's like, well, what's the relevance of this cafe? What's the relevance of the bookstore? What is the relevance of, because it's not always the most scenic of places in this particular case. And when you're watching it, I'm watching it thinking, oh, well, we're just determining the setting.
Yeah.
I can see that we're not in Austria. I'm seeing French. So we must be in France. Like, I'm kind of trying to deduce that from those opening credits. But had I finished watching the movie, I wouldn't have ever thought to go back to the beginning opening credits
Yeah.
because I wouldn't have put those together at all. I just wouldn't have put those together. I wasn't paying attention to that. But now I'm going to be paying attention. When we get to the third one, I'm going to be like, okay, what's like anytime there's just a shot without them in it, because they're in every shot,
Yeah.
like, what does this mean? Why is this here?
Yeah.
Otherwise, they're in every scene. There's not a scene without them
Yeah. That's true.
because we follow them. So anyway, I don't know. Just something that I'm going to be thinking about, I know, when we go to watch the third one.
Yeah. Definitely.
It's interesting.
Well,
Yeah.
if you don't have anything else to say, I think we should just move on. What are we doing next?
Oh, I'm so excited. Okay, so I did go back out to my letterbox so I could remember what ones. Okay.
Good.
And I was trying to decide between three because I really feel like I like this romance genre. It's getting to be summer. That feels like a fun. So I think what I'm going to go with is the movie Moonstruck with Cher and Nicolas Cage.
Okay.
It's a romance. I haven't seen it since it originally came out at all. So let me see.
I haven't seen it, period.
Well, this is going to be exciting for you then. 1987.
Okay.
1987. So, yeah, I was 15. Nicolas Cage was a baby in this movie, and Cher was much older, which was kind of, But one of the things I remember most about this movie is Olympia Dukakis in this movie. So you and I had seen Steel Magnolias.
Yeah.
And Olympia plays, it's not Weeza. It's her friend. She's the other older lady.
Oh.
That's not Shirley MacLaine.
I'd have to
But
look it up.
you know who I'm talking about? Can you picture her in your mind?
No,
I can't
it's been a minute since I've seen that movie.
Oh, you need to look her up. She's a treasure in this movie. That's what I remember from when I was 15 years old, was how much I loved her. And I'd never seen her before.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I know this lady.
Yeah. Her, I think. So there was a guy, okay, I'm going to have you look this up too because you're a speedy typer.
Okay.
Her brother, her cousin, her something was Michael Dukakis, who ran for the president for the Democratic Party. Can you look up how they were related? I'm thinking maybe brother. He was a presidential candidate.
Okay.
Michael Dukakis.
Yeah, looking. Man, he's still alive. He's 92.
No way. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, she died in 2021. Oh, I'm looking at his
Clary. Clary. That was her name in Steel Magnolias.
Oh, okay.
Clary. Okay, go ahead. That was bugging me.
I'll
I
look
came.
at-
I got that. I didn't even have to look that up. I got that in my brain. Woo, woo, look at me go. Okay, go ahead.
They're cousins.
Cousins. Okay. Yeah. What year did he run? Does it say?
Yeah. Let me see. Enough.
I'm thinking 88.
Oh, he was the governor of Massachusetts for a while. Mm-hmm. Oh, wait. John Kerry was the lieutenant governor. What? But it
Oh,
wouldn't-
interesting.
that's a different. It was formally nominated at the 1988 Democratic National Convention.
Look at me go. I'm on a roll. 1988. So he was running against George H.W.
Yep.
Yeah.
He made history as the first Greek American and Aromanian presidential candidate, first
Okay.
Greek Orthodox major party nominee, and the first major party nominee with ancestry outside Europe.
Interesting. Okay. Well, Cher is Cher Armenian? I can't remember. She I want to say Armenian.
Oh boy.
Anyway,
Hold on. Well, she was born in El Centro, California.
I think one of her
Armenian.
parents. Oh, look at me go. Oh my gosh.
So her
believe
father,
it.
her father's Armenian. Her mom was Irish.
Okay. Look at me go. I can't believe it. 3 in a row.
That's pretty good.
So impressed with myself. Can I remember what movie I was going to pick like 15 minutes after I picked it? No. Can I remember that Cher is Armenian? Yes, I can. That's so crazy.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
Anyway, I think you'll enjoy this. Again, this was the first time I had seen Nick Cage, and
okay.
and that's one thing I remember about it. And the other thing I remember is Olympia Dukakis. So I'm excited to see if her role is as pronounced as I remember it being in my memory, because I just remember delighting in her. So I'm really excited to see this again.
It also has Danny Aiello. I don't know if that's
Yes, it does.
from Do the Right Thing.
He plays her dad.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
All right.
I can't wait.
Well,
Okay.
next
This
time
is fun.
will be Moonstruck,
Yeah.
followed by Before Midnight. And then who knows where we're going to go from here.
I don't know.
I think
I
it
don't
was
know.
around this time last year we had our 6 Degrees marathon. So maybe it would be fun to do
man.
another kind of themed one.
I would love that.
I feel like summer's a good
Oh, we
time to
did-
be doing that.
We talked about doing sports movies,
We did talk about doing sports movies. That
but
would
that's
be,
not really a 6 degrees
no.
unless we could 6 degrees sports movies.
We could do 6 different sports.
That's intriguing. Okay, let's ponder on
If
that.
it was a Olympic year, we could do Olympic sports. But it's
well,
not.
we already winter was this last winter, but
Yeah.
so it is a little Olympic year. It just already happened.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh
don't know.
shoot. Okay,
We'll
yeah,
think
let's think
about
about
it.
it.
But
Okay.
yeah, there will be probably a marathon here coming soon. Those are always my favorite. So,
Yeah,
We'll
it's
do it.
fun. Yeah. Okay.
all right.
Sounds good.
Well,
I'm really glad you've picked this trilogy. I'm enjoying it a lot. Like it's really nice. I really like it.
it is really nice. Yeah. I bought them physical like a year and a half ago, so I'm glad that I'm finally getting to cross that
Yeah.
off.
For sure. I love it.
But yeah.
Okay. That's all I have. Oh, except that you're supposed to support your local library and call your mom.
Bye, everybody.